What are the next 7 days bringing into your life, and what do you need to know? That is what I am doing this week, as my tarot reading is the next 7 days. I'm also not going to speak on any of the astrology because I want this reading to be useful for anybody at any given time. So this is just the next 7 days, no bells and whistles, no astrology. We are not looking to the sky as to what is going on for you, just the cards. My name is Mimí Folco. I am a tarot reader, astrologer, numerologist, Reiki practitioner, among many other things at Harvey Alchemy. And I do tarot readings every Saturday here on my YouTube channel. I'm also doing a giveaway, so once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I am giving away some prizes. I started off with 3, but I kind of want to give away more, so we'll see what happens when we get there. Basically, I'm giving away readings, products, you name it. So if you want to look at what I do have available, you can find all of that at harveymountainalchemy.com. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is subscribe here, follow me on Instagram, and then comment here to let me know that you did those things so that I can enter you. All right, so this week we are actually doing things a little different. I don't have any crystals for you to choose from. I just want you to pick the deck that you want, which deck speaks to you the most. Based off of the imagery or based off of its energy, and we're going to get straight into the reading. So I am doing one card as the theme for the next 7 days, basically what you are working towards over the course of the next week, and then I'm doing a card per day. And they could resonate with the exact energy of the exact day, or it could just be that this is the story that's working out for you over the next week. As always, comment below what resonates or what doesn't resonate, or let me know just what's going on in your life and how the cards spoke on your experiences right now. I love to hear from you guys. I really want to build this into some sort of little community where we all feel safe and comfortable to speak to each other. So that's that. I'm going to pan the camera down so you can see your piles. You can pick your tarot deck, and let's go. So pile number 1, you have got the Ostara tarot deck. Pile 2, the Pride tarot deck. And pile 3, the Book of Shadows Volume 2 deck. All right, so pile number 1, I've got your Ostara tarot deck here. It is beautiful. It's gilded in silver on the edges, and we are going to see what comes up for you. I love this deck because it makes me feel like we're in sort of a dream state. You know, it's a very dreamy deck. The imagery is very flowy, very almost watercolor-esque. Of the colors sort of blend into each other. Anyway, so we are going to look at the major theme over the next 7 days for you, and then we're going to go through 7 cards basically. So it could be a card per day, or it could be just a little story of what's going on for you over the next 7 days. So the theme jumped right out. The theme for this week is the 2 of Swords. So keep this imagery really, really close to your heart. It's about denial. It's about setting boundaries. It's about communicating those boundaries too, especially on like a one-on-one basis. If there's a person or a partner that you are dealing with right now, relationship-wise, how you communicate with them and how you also draw your boundaries with them. How you tell them, actually, that was too much for me, or I need you to step it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be about other people. It can also be how you set boundaries with yourself. It can also be how you're setting too many boundaries, you know, and so you're not allowing yourself to go into a certain place because you would rather have the blindfold on. But there's so much power in your words this week. So regardless of whether or not boundaries are a part of your week, there's so much power in your words, and there's so much power in saying no as well. So that is sort of the theme for the week. And let's see. Day 1. Wow. All right. So day 1, we've got the World. I'm going to speak a little bit on the cards, but as I pull them, but also as we get further along, I'm probably going to be able to put puzzle pieces together. But the World card coming up in day 1, it almost tells me like that's why you are watching this video, is because today is day 1 and you need some sort of guidance or some sort of direction or path or place to go. It feels almost like you're quite overwhelmed, and you feel like maybe your world is crashing around you, or it feels like your own inner world is crashing within you. So it might feel like you are dealing with a mirror, which this 2 of Swords definitely speaks on reflection, self-reflection, physical reflection. It's a mirror. So what is going on in the external world is also going on within your world as well. And so day 1, you might be feeling a little bit focused on what's overwhelming you. What's beautiful about this World card is that all of the fixed signs are here in the corner. So it's almost like you are fixating on what is crashing and burning. And so a good message for you there is to like realize that you don't have to fixate on all of the difficulty or on the pain or the suffering or what feels like crashing and burning. You can actually really focus on what new progress is being made by allowing this to crash and to burn. Maybe what is crashing and burning or what is imploding was something that no longer serves you, and you are so fixed on doing it because you are comfortable with it. But what's coming from being able to let go and surrender and release that need for control, there's actually something really, something really progressive about doing that. All right, so day 2, we've got the 3 of Swords. And so this card was actually on the bottom of the deck as I was speaking about the world, and it was telling me to pull it. So you got the 3 of Swords for day 2. I almost feel like there's some sort of social anxiety that's going on. So far, it feels like there's a lot of emotional overwhelmness throughout this week, and that you have to really take the reins on it, and you have to really do what you can to release what is really holding you back. This 3 of Swords is really interesting. It doesn't depict that much pain. It actually says that there's more people involved in your caring for yourself than you think there is. You know, there are 3 daggers that are carving that heart into the tree. It means that there are many people who are willing to commit to the nurturing and to the comfort that you are working towards. I almost feel like you need to allow yourself to rely on others to help you. Before you can do that, you have to acknowledge that there's some sort of issue or some sort of problem. And so a 2 of Swords theme for the week kind of says like, you can't be living in denial if you want to get better. Before getting better, you have to acknowledge that there's a problem. All right, day 3. There we go. The 10 of Swords. My guys, what is going on for you this week? Again, feeling overwhelmed. This feels like a very transformational time for you, and not transformational in the way that, I mean, it definitely could be a spiritual experience for you while you're sitting within your meditation and it's all within yourself that you are getting this transformation. But I almost feel like it's really being mirrored in your external world, that something feels like it is crumbling apart. Something that you work towards, something that you were building, feels like it's crumbling apart, and it could be a little by little, right? That you don't even feel like it's crumbling, but there's a part of you that's like realizing you have to say goodbye to something you're working on. It could be work related, could be relationship, could be your own inner work that you're doing, like shadow work. So it feels like day 3, you might be willing to open up to the solution. Because you may be so overwhelmed by all of the spinning thoughts, by your anxieties, by maybe your emotional outlets, that you're almost willing to do anything to get out of that state. And so I almost feel like the acknowledging that there is some sort of problem or that you are feeling overwhelmed in some way is so much of the work. And once you can acknowledge that there's a problem that needs to be fixed, you are going to be motivated to find the solution, because you are this fixed energy here. You know, once you set your sights to do something, you're going to do it. And so once you recognize that there's some sort of issue that needs solving, you are willing to work on that problem solving puzzle. So day 3, again, feels like possibly high anxiety, possibly overwhelmedness. So make sure that you are really taking care of yourself this week and keep your eyes on the prize, right? Once we acknowledge there's a problem, it might feel like it's flooding us or like it's just constantly in front of us. And so remember that there are other things that are going very well in your life and that you can be grateful for. All right, day 4. This is the middle of the week. There we go. Well, that's too many cards, so we're gonna put them back. I'm going strictly 1 card per day. There we go. Wow. So we've got the King of Wands here. Day 4, King of Wands. It feels like you're finally able to take ownership of the work that you're willing to do. And be careful not to let your ego kind of take over during this day on day 4. That maybe, you know, if this day 2 you finally shared something with other people, you let other people in to help comfort you and console you, then suddenly your ego is bruised because somebody else knows what you're going through. Don't let that get to you on day 4. Remember to keep working towards the goal. I feel like goal orientation is really important for you this week. So pretty quick for that day 4, because it feels like, you know, you could really use this energy to move forward, take action, and solve some issues. Or you could let your ego take over and suddenly you're caring more about, you know, having power or having control over what you're dealing with. And it's important for you to share what you're going through with others as well. All right, so day 5. 2 cards fell out. I'm only doing 1. I'm being strict today, guys. Day 5. There we go. We've got the 10 of Wands. My goodness. I really want to just send you guys a big hug because I feel like something intense is happening for you this week. The 10 of Wands speaks of a weight that you carry, a responsibility that you carry. And it almost feels like the decisions that you made on day 4 are going to affect you on day 5. So make note of that 4 days from now, what choices you make, because they're going to affect the next day. This might, I need to catch my breath. This might feel like you are burdened or you are a burden to others. So it's important to remind yourself that you are not a burden. You are a human being going through a human experience and you need other people's comfort and support. This is not something that I think you need to be going through alone. Some situations, some experiences, humans need to experience alone. But I really feel like here, you need to allow your world in. That is something really big right at the beginning. It's like you have to let the world into what you're going through. And fixed signs sometimes, especially Scorpio and Taurus, honestly, all the fixed signs, Leo a little bit less so, but they don't want to include other people in what they're doing because they have that fixed mentality of, I am going to get this done because I know how to get this done. So this 10 of Wands on day 5, it feels really prevalent that you might feel like I have to carry all of this weight. I have to carry all of this burden and responsibility. And if I include anybody else on it, then I'm the weight that somebody else is carrying. And you're putting shame to that. So you have to let go of that shame, definitely. I think you have to really learn how to objectively see what you're going through rather than just applying these emotions to it, which are so human in their nature, but they're so painful, right? Shame, blame, disappointment. They're so human, and you can't put that on yourself when you need comfort and support from somebody else. So day 6, let's see, getting near the end of this. Day 6, we've got the 7 of Cups. Interesting. So again, choices are really coming up for you. The options that are presenting themselves to you, almost like you might feel, I feel like denial might come up a little bit, that you're seeing that there are options around you. There are pathways for you to take and to move forward, but you kind of need to sit in where you are right now. And I think that's healthy. We've had a lot of Wands and a lot of Swords, which aren't very much like emotional suits. They're much more about action and about mentality. And so I think by day 6, these 5 days, if you're willing to like put in that work, or if you're really taking this seriously, day 6 is for you to just relax a little bit. And not relax in that like you can totally forget it's happening and, you know, ignore it and move on, denial again, because you could certainly go in that direction. But it's more for you to be able to sit and like, I don't know, I think you need some sort of self-validation that what you're doing is important and that you're doing well, you know, that even though it feels difficult doesn't mean you're doing a bad job. All right, and day 7, last day. And then we're gonna pull some fortune cards. Oops. All right, well, this guy jumped right out. We've got the 6 of Wands. It really is about you being able to acknowledge that you are not going to be, you're not a cookie cutter person, and nobody is a cookie cutter person, right? What we see from, you know, social media or just online or on the internet in general, that is not the full scope of who a human is. And I think what you're going through here is a big shift in how you perceive yourself and seeing yourself as a person that has complications, you know, that has uniqueness to you, that you are you and nobody else is like that. And that's a good thing, right? To be weird and to shine on your weirdness shows that you are an individual and that you are willing to be different, that you are willing to be yourself. Because once you're able to sit in that energy, so much abundance is going to come your way. Once we accept who we really are and accept that we're not a cookie cutter person, accept that we're not going to be this like version of ourselves that we're told we should be, Once you can accept that, so much beauty comes your way because the universe is recognizing that you're doing that work. So that's day 7. It's really about you being able to figure out, and I'm not saying that, great, in the next 7 days, you'll be able to figure out who you are and you're going to be reveling in it. But I think that by day 7, you might realize that that is a lesson that you are learning here, is that you're trying so hard to fit into a mold, and that's not a you mold, right? There is no mold to make up for who you are in your entirety, in your entire humanness. So really being able to acknowledge that and accept that and validate your experience as an independent, but as a unique one, mostly. All right, so I want to see what is going to come up for you. Just like a couple little extras. This is usually just some little details that are going to show up for you. I'm going to pick a couple of them and see where they land. All right, so hat, you will be playing a different role, and we got that right above this 10 of Swords card. So almost feels like this really overwhelmness and the choice, or no, not choices that you make, but the overwhelmness and the feeling like things are crumbling, you will be playing a different role. So be careful that maybe you're not numbing a little bit or dissociating from your experience right now. I think that did sit right next to this 2 of Swords. Make sure that you have the blindfolds off. That is really important for you. All right, let's see what else. Teapot, deep friendship with someone of the same sex. And that's something I definitely saw too with this 3 of Swords. You have to let other people into your world. You have to let other people into the experiences that you're having, right? Allowing them in, and really deep friendship building off of that. Okay. And let's see what else comes through. One more. Oh, but 2. We got Mule and Wheel. So Mule is someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. That speaks a lot to the World card that we were talking about, all those fixed signs of, but I know this, and if I change, then I'm volunteering into the unknown. Excuse me. And so kind of breaking through that stubbornness. And then Wheel, indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. That definitely speaks to the 7 of Cups again, the indecision. And it might feel like you're taking a break, therefore you are giving up. Don't let yourself spiral into that mindset. You're not giving up. You're giving yourself some time and space to process everything that you're going through right now. All right, pile 1, I hope that was helpful for you. I'm sending you guys so much love. Have a great 7 days, as great as you can. These cards are intense. You are experiencing intensity over the next 7 days, but I just feel like you have the strength to do this. And if you feel like you don't, that's something you got to work on. So I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, so pile 2, I have got your Pride deck here. It says Love is Love on the back. Absolutely stunning. I love this deck. It's made by all different artists, so every card is a different artist's rendition or interpretation of that card. So a lot of different artwork in here. It allows for a lot of variety in what's to come. All right, so we are going to, and a card already fell out, we are going to look at the theme for the next 7 days, what you are really majorly looking at. We've got the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups, immediately I felt romance, right? Like seeking romance or seeking, and outside of romance, like if that's not exactly what you're going through right now, it almost feels like an idolization or idealization or projecting some sort of like perfect picture on somebody else, or putting that pressure on yourself to be this like ideal version. All right, so for this week, that theme, I almost feel like you have to really reflect this week. I think journaling would be a really good idea for you. I think looking in the mirror is a really good idea for you. Telling yourself you're beautiful in the mirror, really good idea. You know, really speaking up for yourself, and negating any of the negative self-talk that's going on for you. But I also think that chasing after what you really want on an emotional level is important for you too this week. So let's see what day 1 is. Day 1, we've got Justice. Wow. So as we go along, I will be speaking more and more on the cards and how they work together. But for now, you have got Justice here. So day 1 Justice, I feel like there's something about you that really wants to be objective right now, and you want to have the answers very clearly to you. You want to have them clearly shown to you too. Whereas the Knight of Cups is saying you have to go with your emotional gut, not even your like fire passion gut, but what your heart really wants on an emotional level, right? That Knight of Cups goes after what makes him emotionally fulfilled. And you instead, day one, you're kind of focusing on, well, what makes sense and what is fair and what is equal and what is balancing. Sometimes life isn't that balanced. You know, we go through phases of, you know, going through X, and then we go through a phase of going through Y, you know, so then over the grand scheme of things balance out. But for now, I think you're really seeking a balance right here and now. And instead you have to just go after what your heart wants. All right, day two. There we go. Day two, we got Two of Pentacles. Again, balance. You really want to find what makes sense. I feel like you're so earthy, you're really grounded, and you want to find the solution that solves everything. The Knight of Cups knows that not everything makes sense on a rational level. Instead, it's about, again, just what makes you feel on an emotional level more balanced. And emotionally, you might, I'm trying to figure it out, you know, like how in moderation is really important. And that's sort of what justice speaks about, is like making sure that everything is equal and is fair. But at the same time, right now, it's not about being equal. It's not about making sense. It's not about being rational or very, very rooted or grounded in what physically, tangibly makes sense. It's about you just going after what your heart really wants. They're just speaking that so loudly to me, and I can't find any other meaning behind that Knight of Cups, behind just like, besides just, I want to be emotionally fulfilled and I'm going to go after what fulfills me in that way. So day two, it feels like maybe you're letting things go a little bit looser, right? Justice is quite strict with what she deems fair. This Two of Pentacles is sort of like, all right, let's just see what happens when I throw these up in the air. You know, they're still there. The options are still there, but maybe I'm releasing a little bit of control. So card day three, the Queen of Wands. All right, so some passion is coming into the situation. Wands is still not a very emotional suit, but it is a passionate suit, right? So the Queen of Wands goes after what she wants, driven by her passion and driven by this innate fire that she has within her. So this is already getting so much closer to that Knight of Cups energy of chasing after what you want. However, the Queen doesn't exactly move, right? She's not chasing, she's not taking action. She's much more generative. She's much more receptive. So this day three could even be a day for you to really reflect on, oh, but okay, if it's not balance that I need, or balance that will fulfill me, what is it? What is it that will fulfill me? What is it that I want out of my fiery gut now, out of passion and out of heart? What is it that I really need right now? And so day three is a good day for you to sit within and to reflect within on what it is that you want. All right, day four. There we go. The Two of Wands. So I feel like you are very comfortable reverting back to what makes sense, right? Because this Two of Wands, although it is still wands, you know, there's still passion there. There's definitely exploration and adventure. You're still seeking what makes sense. And maybe for you right now, that is what you need. Just as a note, the theme for the week is the Knight of Cups. So, you know, the theme of the work that you're doing over the course of the next 7 days is that Knight of Cups. Doesn't mean you're going to achieve the Knight of Cups in the next 7 days. No, but it just means that that's sort of the overarching what you are working towards over the next 7 days. However, day four, Two of Wands. So we've got another two, we've got another sort of balancing, but the Wands is a little more adventurous. And the Two of Wands is all about seeking other options, seeking other sources of joy, of inspiration, of excitement. So traveling could be a really good time on day four, could be a really good thing for day four. You know, seeing your options and looking outwards, where day three was much more about looking inwards, that queen, that generative energy. Look at these two looking outside of themselves, not staring at themselves anymore. So maybe day four is a good day for you to have an adventure, explore, discover. It's almost very Sagittarian to me. So find some optimism in the outside world and outside perspectives, and allow yourself to, I mean, I have a friend who used to do this thing. She would do meditation drives. And so she would drive around and she would just turn when she felt like she should, right? So like just intuitively turning where she went. And so that, I think, is a really good idea for you to just explore and just see where that inspiration takes you, or see where that meditation takes you. And again, that's sort of you moving forward towards what your heart wants. All right, so day 5, let's go. There it is. I knew there'd be a jump. Day 5, the star. Beautiful. The star speaks of hope, but it also speaks of the future. It speaks of hope for the future. It speaks of your dreams for the future, what you are really working towards. And I think that's so beautiful that you got Justice ruled by Libra to start, and now you're getting the star ruled by Aquarius. You know, so it's still that air energy. You're still in that comfortable space of air, but it's working well. They are working well with each other, where the Justice and all of your 2s really want things to make sense and want things to balance. The star is saying, we can do things a little bit differently now, though. And it feels like you're getting a little bit comfortable with what is different from what you're so used to. Yeah, especially after that day 4 of like, let's explore, let's try something new. Day 5 is saying like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't so bad. And I actually learned some new things, and I explored and I discovered new parts of myself. So maybe it's not so bad to let go of that need for control, to let go of that need for balance in some sort of way. The star really speaks of that hope, and that it almost feels like he didn't realize that the sun was right there, you know, or he didn't realize that that bright star was right there. And so I feel like by day 5, there's some sort of reignition that's going to be happening within your gut, within your belly. I almost feel like spicy food is going to taste so much better for you on day 5. Or it may cause some acid reflux, right? So be careful of your tummy during this day, because it feels like it's going to be really active, because you are activating it. All right, so day 6. Whew, day 6. Come on, little jump. There we go. The Lovers. So choices are going to be made. I feel like this day doesn't really fit the rest of the days. It almost feels like there's something similar that you could be learning when it comes to the Lovers, to everything else that you're learning. Maybe putting it into practice in your relationships and in your friendships, your work partnerships, putting it into practice that maybe you don't know it all. A shed of the ego, a release of the ego, and also, now something else is coming for the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is being able to listen to others, giving other people that the attention that they need, right? Being able to emotionally fulfill others, because he isn't really moving too quickly. And I almost feel like, again, you're just allowing other people or other voices to speak up around you. And that's really going to ignite something in you. I think it's really going to activate whatever it is that you're learning right now. Whatever it is that's challenging you is going to be solidified by hearing other people's voices, other people's opinions. So the Lovers on day 6, like, recognize that there is a lot of relationship stuff that's happening around here too, and it might be a little bit more of a subtle energy. Interesting, because the Lovers, again, is another, I mean, it's not a 2 in numerology, but the Lovers speaks of 2 lovers. And so really that balance, again, trying to figure out, and how it just really feels like, sorry, it's so jumbled, but it really feels like all of this 1 through 5, days 1 through 5 that you're dealing with is going to be sort of put into practice on day 6 when it comes to your people. That's all I'm going to say on that. All right, so day 7. Ooh, a lot of cards. Hey, buddy. Well, I'm being strict. I'm only doing 1 card, so let's see if one of those pops up again. There it is. The 9 of Wands. All right, day 7 feels intense. It feels almost like you're regressing and reverting a little bit. So it's good to know, it's good to have that preparation. This is just a sign of what could be coming on day 7. Could be that you are setting a lot of boundaries, or it could be that somebody is setting a boundary with you. Maybe something about this Lover's Day didn't go so well, and you made a choice that affected somebody else, and now they're speaking up about it. Or it could be vice versa, that somebody did something that affected you and now you're speaking up about it. So day 7 is really about recognizing the boundaries that are being placed either by yourself or by somebody else, recognizing any harm that's been done too. I mean, this person has their arm in a sling. They've clearly been injured. And now they're really, I mean, it seems like there's some anger on this day 7. So just be really careful when it comes to day 7, pile 2, because it feels like there are going to be some repercussions of what happens on day 6. All right, so we are going to pull some tea leaf fortune cards. One just jumped out immediately. Interesting, we got ring. A marriage will take place, either romantic or business. And this fell between the 2 of Wands and the Star. So around day 4 and day 5, when you're really opening up and exploring something new, and then finally discovering what it is you want. And you also have the Lovers here. So maybe there is something about marriage or a proposal or somebody else getting married. If there's anybody out there who's like a friend is getting married and they don't approve of it, something about that is going to come. There's going to be some passion around that. It could be, that's what that 9 of Wands is that speaking up about setting the boundary or like disapproval of somebody else's choices. Let's see what else. Oop, okay. We've got Kangaroo, unsettled times, need to plan ahead. This was above the 2 of Pentacles here, where you are throwing it up into the air. I think this is going to trigger some fears for you releasing control by not holding those pentacles at all times. Instead, you're throwing them up in the air and you have less control over that situation. So you're going to feel like you really need to plan ahead and that you're really unsettled. And let's see what else. One more. That was the Eye on top of the Lovers. Psychic ability, trust your intuition. So whatever it is that happens with these Lovers, and I do feel like maybe there's some sort of argument that's happening with a friend or with a loved one, any other human, it doesn't have to be like a lover, that you sort of have to trust your intuition on this one. And even if it does hurt, even if it's difficult or it hurts yourself or hurts somebody else, there's some truth to it. And so you really have to honor that intuitive truth that you do know. All right. I hope that was helpful for you. I really love hearing from you guys. So please comment below what resonated, what didn't, or yeah, just let me know you're here because I love to hear from you guys. So sending you the best of luck and have a great 7 days. Bye. All right. Pile 3. I've got your Book of Shadows deck here. I love this deck. It is very grounding to me. It feels like real imagery that can happen in real life right now. So I like it sometimes when I need practical answers. So what we're going to look at is the theme for the week. First, see what jumps out for you. There we go. We've got the Moon. Wow. Really a time of tuning into your emotions, tuning into your to your intuition, and also tuning into your divine femininity. Yeah, or in your feminine divinity. Really feels like tuning into this core self that you are, right? We have this lobster, which is not a crab, but this lobster almost feels like a sharper version of a crab, but it can retreat. In fact, it doesn't have any way not to be retreated. It's always held safe in its shell. And then we've got this wolf here howling to the moon. So really this primal instinct that you have to stay true to your emotions. And also I think I think of the moon as looking at our cycles and our patterns, especially when it comes to our emotions, our emotional habits, how we sometimes send ourselves into a circle that never ends, just spiraling within our own emotional self. So a big theme for you this week and over the next 7 days is being in tune with your emotion, trusting your intuition, making sure that you are feeling comfortable, safe, but also really honoring your primal need or your primal intuition. So day 1, let's see what you got. Okay, we have got the 5 of Cups. So it feels like there's some sort of emotional disappointment. So right off the bat, we had the moon, which was saying emotions are sort of the theme of the week for you here. And day 1, the 5 of Cups, really sitting in some of that emotional despair maybe. I think the flip side of that for you, it's really important to focus on what you do have, because it's so easy to sit in that pity party. It's so easy to just sit in that sadness, in that despair. And we are working on our cyclical emotional cyclical habits, right? So we know that we can sit in our feelings for a long amount of time, but we're trying to break those patterns, break those habits. So remember to focus on what is good, focusing on what is going to comfort you right now in a way that isn't just holding space for sadness all of the time. Day 2, let's see. There we go. All right, so day 2, we have got the Hanged Man. I think right now you might feel a little bit clouded. You might feel a little bit foggy as to how to get out of a situation that you're in or how to remove yourself from your circumstances. It is not time for you to take decisive action right now. It's really time for you to just sit and allow what's happening to happen. Allow yourself to recognize the energies that you're dealing with. It is a time of contemplation, of meditation, of intuition. I mean, look at her. She's not rushing to go do anything. And the Hanged Man is the card of divine delay. So things might not feel like they are moving as quickly as you want them to be moving, but it's for a reason. And once things do get moving, you're gonna realize what that reason is. All right, so day 3, let's get to it. Day 3, the Knave of Chalices. So fancy sounding. That is the Page of Cups. Self-reflection is really important for you right now. Right now, it's a lot of water. It's a lot of sitting in emotion. It's a lot of recognizing emotion. So getting yourself out of any denial, or getting yourself out of any numbing as well, or disassociation is going to be really important for you. And it might be a little bit painful, especially day 1, to realize that you can't numb all of the time, because when you don't numb, then you feel a little sad. And that could be, it could be through depression, or it could just be through like eating as a coping mechanism, or substance abuse, or any sort of escapist tendencies that you might have. But day 3 is about the Page of Cups, being able to reflect and to look at yourself honestly and objectively, being able to see your emotions without the cloud of sitting in the emotions. Does that make sense? So like, say you're journaling and you're feeling really sad a certain day and you're journaling about how you're so sad. I want you to journal about yourself as though you are watching. And again, that's sort of a dissociation, I should say. But it's sort of training you to be able to logically work through the emotions that you're dealing with. Because if you're trying to deal with the emotions while sitting in your emotions, it's going to be very clouded, and the choices that you make are going to be very emotion driven, which is not what I think you're supposed to be doing right now. You're supposed to gain comfort in your emotion. You're supposed to be able to look at your emotion, but taking action through your feeling is not exactly the right way to be going right now. At least day 3 feels like just a really reflective day. Pages are not about moving forward too quickly, right? They are willing to move forward and they want to. They're excited for the growth and evolution that they're going to be having. But this Page of Cups is really about self-reflection and looking in the mirror and seeing yourself clearly. So, I mean, he doesn't see himself very clearly. So maybe there's some sort of dysmorphic perception that you're having of yourself right now. All right, day 4, moving on. Day 4. All right, we've got the 5 of Pentacles. So we have shifted from the cups into the earthy pentacles. So there are some changes that need to be made. And this is right in the middle of the week. You started the week out with a 5, and now in the middle of this week on day 4, again, you have a 5. So it feels like you have to reframe the way that you not take action because it's wands, and not feel because it's not cups. But Pentacles is about the things you value right now. And I think there needs to be a shift on day 4 of what it is that you are valuing, what it is you're placing your value on. Say we have body dysmorphia or something, that you're placing your value only on what you look like. So instead shifting your value system to, but look at what all of my body can do, or look at what my mind can do, and look at all of these things that I am, even if I'm not the perfect version of myself in a physical way. So that's just an example. Whatever it is that you're perceiving of yourself that's slightly off, you need to shift that perception. You need to shift that perspective. All right, day 5. Day 5, the Fool. Yes, I love this. The Fool goes on a totally new journey. Almost feels like by this day, there's going to be something tangible that changes the way you look at things. And on day 5, you are ready to see the world in a new light. This is a big shifting week for you. You've got the 5s, and now you've got this Fool, which is all about new journey, new adventure, whole new world even. So the day 5, wow. This is really beautiful because I think by day 2, you're like, I just want things to be different. I want things to change. But the universe is like, no, we have to delay this a little bit longer. You'll see why. And then on day 5, there's something new that really sparks you, that really reignites your want to explore and to see the world in a new light. All right, day 6. These cards are kind of like, this is what we want to say and move on. So let's see. No, too many cards keep falling out. It's not what I want. I want one single card. There we go. Thank you. Day 6, the 10 of Cups. Great, because this is one of the ones that jumped out and I put it back. Day 6, the 10 of Cups. I think you're going to reach a point of really emotional fulfillment this week. I think you're going to have a really quick turnaround from this 5 of Cups to this 10 of Cups. Being able to see that there's twice as much emotional goodness in your life, right? We started off with the 5 and being really sad about the 5 that we've got, and now moving on to this joy of the 10. Really being grateful and, I don't know, validating how far you have come in this time. Okay, and day 7, last day, and then we're gonna get to the tea leaf cups. I love that. See, I love that because the King of Wands and the 10 of Cups were the 2 cards that fell out of the deck, and I said, no, I want 1 card. And the 10 of Cups and the King of Wands came out again. So by day 7, I almost feel like you are going to be a new version of yourself, or like you are ready to be that new version of yourself. There was still like that first half of the week, you needed to focus on the emotional part of it. Notice if this is a pattern for you, that you go from really low lows to really high highs. Because again, we are looking at our patterns throughout this entire week. And I don't want to just say that, wow, by day 5, things are going to be great. You're going to turn around and everything's going to be perfect. That's not what I really want to say, because I think it's important for you to notice how many of my patterns am I submitting to on a daily basis or a weekly basis? You know, do you have these really low moments and then all of a sudden you're shifted into this like perspective that, oh, things are great. I think for you, the moon is trying to say, try and get to that high, try and get to that point of things are great without having to experience those lows. And it's so much easier said than done, I know, but that's sort of what just needed to be said. So by day 7, the King of Wands, that might be a good day for you to take ownership of the choices that you make, the decisions that need to be made. It's kind of time for you to step up and say, okay, I can do this. I can enforce action. I can enforce movement forward now. All right, we are going to look at these tea leaf reading cards and see what comes up for you and where they land. There we go. Beryl, you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. And that landed right on top of the 5 of Cups and sort of a little bit on the Hanged Man too. So this 5 of Cups is that lack mentality, that poverty mentality of, oh, woe is me, I don't have this. And that Hanged Man saying like, almost like you feel like you can't do anything to make it better. And that's on day 1 and 2. Oop. Well, this just fell right off the table, so I feel like it's more subconscious. Angel, yeah. Spiritual guidance, protection from harm. So this felt, because it fell under the table, it sort of felt like something that's happening subconsciously or unconsciously that you don't even have to be aware that it's happening. You are being guided through your spirit guides. There is an angel who's watching over you and protecting you from harm. I'm going to put that right by the moon. What else have we got? Okay. Carrot, opportunity or windfall. Beautiful. And that sort of was going everywhere. It's so funny because it was like flying. Felt like it was falling through the wind. All right, and let's see what else we got. Torch, spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Yeah, so this really speaks of this Page of Cups, of willing to look at your spiritual development, looking at your emotional growth that happens when you do develop through your spirituality. I think it's a great week for you to have a meditation practice. You know, just challenge yourself to 7 days of meditation. Doesn't have to be long. It could even just be 5 minutes a day where you allow yourself to meditate, and maybe even find some guided meditations where you meet your spirit guides. I have a couple of meditation. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. But I think it's important for you to really sit in these, or validate and recognize the emotions that are happening, because I know sitting in the emotion, they just don't want me to say that language. So that's that. All right, pile 3. I hope that was helpful for you. I'm sending you so much love, so much power in this week for you. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.